Hello heroes, 4Kate here with a rare look at an iconic artist talking about his love for the competition's comics. Because when John Romita was growing up as a kid, Superman was the #1 name in superheroes, and it turned out he was a big fan. Way back during Comic-Con 2001, the new Spider-Man movie, directed by Sam Raimi and starring Tobey Maguire, was the king of the con that year. The movie was coming out just about 6 months later, and the hype was through the roof. And so when I was talking to Romita, we talked about adapting Spider-Man, going all the way back to the 1967 cartoon produced by Grant Ray Lawrence. And when we were talking about how voice actor Paul Soles strived to have a distinctive sound for both Peter Parker and Spider-Man.
It works like a charm. 2 presses of the simple doohickey and zowie. Okay, world, better hang on to your hat. You're about to meet the original web-swinging wonder.
Romita said that took him back to his childhood, listening to the old Superman radio show.
And so the muffled voice, yeah, it harkened me back to when I was a kid, the radio show. The actor who did that, forgotten his name, he was a very famous and a big MC on game shows. Used to do Superman, and he used to do the soft voice and the deep voice. He had both. And this is a job for Superman.
This is a job for Superman.
Was that Bud Collyer?
Bud Collyer, right. Yeah. Well, how do you know that? That's got to be before your parents were born.
Yes, my co-producer Jody Menard's father Paul had turned me on to CDs of the old Bud Collyer Superman radio show just weeks before we did that interview. The old show ran from 1940 to 1951. And soon after the show began, Collyer was recruited to play Superman in a series of film serials, the legendary Fleischer Superman cartoons. Still to this day, one of the best comic adaptations and adventure cartoons in general of all time. Collyer went on to have a successful career in early television and became famous across the nation for his work on game shows.
America's #1 clock watcher, Bud Collyer! Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Right. Imagine him doing game shows. I used to tell all the kids, that guy used to play Superman on the radio.
But while studying cartoon history, what really blew me away was to find out that Collyer returned back to the Superman character 30 years later, when he voiced him again for the 3rd different production, and really the 3rd different medium, for the Filmation television cartoon The New Adventures of Superman in 1966. So with all this talk of Bud Collyer, I had those legendary Fleischer Superman cartoons on my brain, and it turns out so did Romita.
Unfortunately for Marvel, the company wasn't around, or at least these characters weren't around in the 30s and 40s, so they couldn't have had a feature film cartoon.
Or the Fleischer things, yeah, or Disney or Fleischer, right. The Fleischer things were even now, hold up, as crude as those and simplistic those stories are, there was something that's lacking in the 67 Spider-Man that they had, and that was light and shade. They did these wonderful contrasting, remember, glows, backlit figures and shadows cast, which Dini has done in Batman. You notice that the black things in deep shadow and only cast a little bit of light, rim lighting and things like that. Very clever. It was never done by Grant Ray and Hanna-Barbera. We had high noon all day long, including the night shots. Everything was light. Everybody's skin was pink, and everybody's orange was orange. You know, so they missed the bet. If they'd have thrown shadows in those original, I would have been happier. If I'd have been in charge, egomaniac that I am.
And all of that Superman talk even led me to screwing up when I asked Romita about Peter Parker working at the Daily Planet.
You mean the Daily Bugle, wise guy? You tried to trip me up, I knew that.
I should have known Romita was too sharp to miss that, but he was impressed that I knew who Bud Collyer was, so I'll call it a win. That was iconic Spider-Man artist John Romita giving us a rare glimpse at the superhero he loved as a kid, DC Comics' Superman. Thanks for watching. We've got more interviews with classic comic, film, and cartoon creators, so please subscribe, and we'll see you here next time on Hero Journalism.